So, all right, with the Star Wars, it.
Hang on, let's for our audience that is by the way, welcome to the fan that we'll do the funky music here in a minute. So Bradley and I were chatting before we came online, and we were talking about different things, and one of the things that came up was our comparison between Star Wars. We had the most interesting conversations just before we start. We just start with our how's it going, brother, and keep it going from there. But I remarked that one of the things that I like about Star Trek is Star Trek has like what people are doing when they're off duty because it's basically the military, right? Or at least, yeah, we'll call it that.
Sort of.
So,
Yeah.
sort of, kind of. So the military where they don't like to kill people, but they still do. Especially, and they die to wear a red shirt. Again,
Yeah.
you could never convince me. Never ever. And I know that's like introductory. Here's your no, 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 no.
I don't
All
want it.
right,
No, give
no,
me the orange one.
give me orange one. Yeah, I'll go shirtless. I'll be skins. Like for
Right?
real. Yeah, what's the pin gonna put? I'll find something that'll stick to you. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, so Star Trek shows people's living quarters, them getting food, them getting like it's not always the end of the world thing, like their real lives. And I've remarked
Yeah.
that with Star Wars, we've never seen anything like showers or bathtubs. I think about that with Yoda living basically in a swamp for a couple decades before he's sitting on Luke's shoulders for a few weeks while he trains. And let's be real, Luke is sweating. I'm assuming Yoda's sweating. How ripe must our boy Yoda be? So you're going
And
to
wearing
share
the same
something.
clothes from Revenge of the Sith.
Facts.
Yes. And
Facts.
that little pod that took him to Dagobah didn't have a lot
Facts.
there.
By the way, Lisa Simpson and Maggie. Okay, Maggie Simpson is not potty trained yet, and I think she's still wearing the same onesie. Like we might want to talk about something, but go ahead.
So, a vac tube was actually introduced in
No.
Mandalorian
No.
episode 1.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All
it
right.
was the first mention of an actual bathroom being on a
Okay.
ship
Okay.
in Star Wars.
Okay.
The vac tube.
You know what your boy wants. I want the seashells from Demolition Man. That's what
Of
I
course.
want.
Right. I still don't know how they work. I've even Googled it
I
once or
want
twice.
Rob Snyder to break that down, like for real.
Right?
Like for real.
Actually, you know what? I don't want Rob Snyder to do it. I want I wanted the Ant-Man guy. Why can't I think of his name?
Paul Rudd?
No, the guy that explains everything. The Hispanic guy.
The actor. Yeah.
God,
his last name's Payne. I can't think of his first name right now.
Right.
Who's, by the way, an excellent actor. Like we all know him
Absolutely.
from Ant-Man, from the Ant-Man universe.
Yeah.
But he's an excellent actor. He's an excellent
I want him
actor.
to explain how the
in that character. In that character.
In that character.
Yes.
All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and play that funky music. Welcome to the Fandemic. This is a Facebook and YouTube live podcast show that celebrates all the things that we feel are awesome in hopes of spreading our fandom to you. After the live show airs, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere you find audio podcasts. Now, in the show, we dive deep into the heart of fandoms and celebrate the things we love. From sci-fi to fantasy, movies to TV shows, comics to video games, we explore the universes that have captured our imaginations and made us lifelong fans. Each week, we'll take you on a journey through the realms of awesomeness. Expect passionate discussions, in-depth analyses, things under the bed, and many side quests. So whether you're a die-hard enthusiast or just dipping your toes in the fandom waters, the Fandemic is the place to be. I'm your host, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Buchanan, and with me every week is the unverified twin of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the eyebrows, The unverified twin of Dave Batista in the head wrinkles, and the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples. Who am I talking to?
Ladies and gentlemen, good boys and good girls, my name is Brian S. Dennis, where this week the S stands for Cody. And we'll talk more about that here in a little bit.
Yes, we will. Oh, man. So, I figured before we get going into our favorites of the week, I got a couple of things we need to go over. One, I got Fandemically Reviewed, where I just dropped episode 1. You don't have to do anything. It's going to be on your feed, so check it out. Where I talk about Beekeeper, I went over my review of it, and then I did a bad review and a good review of it. So you should like
First
it.
off, having seen Beekeeper, I would never give Jason Statham a bad review in anything. Okay?
Right?
Because I don't know about you, I don't know if you've ever seen the videos of Keanu Reeves, like when going through John Wick training.
Mhm.
So, hey, Keanu Reeves, when he was making The Matrix, went through legit, because Lawrence Fishburne talks about this a lot, went through legit martial arts training and preparing for, as well as a little bit of weapons training. However, in John Wick, Keanu went in deep. We talk about diving deep. He went down the rabbit hole
Yeah.
with weapons training. They show Keanu Reeves is a badass with a gun. Okay.
Yeah.
With that being said, as many roles as Jason Statham has played, where he just can rip your spine out through, your nose, and
Mhm.
all the things that we saw him do in Beekeeper. First of all, we like the movie. So Jason Statham, if you're listening, and we know you are, we dug the movie.
Yeah.
Secondly, even if we didn't like it, but again, Jason, we love the movie. We're waiting on Transporter 89 and Fast and the Furious 36. We really are. Okay.
More transporters are probably less.
No,
Fast and Furious.
Bradley. And Expendables 112, we
Mm.
can't wait for
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
For that,
Yeah.
Jason.
The
But
nursing home scene in the one before was just amazing.
I mean,
The
and
way
at this point,
the way you use the walker.
I think anything they bring him in, if we get, we had Red and Red 2, give us Red 3.
I'm with that. Yeah.
We just had the remake of The Color Purple. Maybe we bring Jason Statham into the next line of that. Maybe what we really need is Titanic Part 2.
Right.
The Thawing.
I agree. It take place in the future.
Yes.
Or you know what? Actually, in space.
In space.
Titanic in space.
Celine
Dion's heart will go on
and on.
It's like the Energizer Bunny.
She always hit her chest, hit that one note. Okay, anyway. But with that being said, everything that Jason Statham would do, we're going to touch was great. By the way, real quick, because me saying Titanic on my tangent, then we'll get back to it, is this. If you rewatch Titanic, and we talked before about how we can point out the breaks in logic, and all these movies we really like and love, there's all, because they're movies, right? There's always going. Yeah. By the way, human beings make illogical decisions, including the real world.
Yeah.
But think about it. She had the heart of the ocean the entire time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, but this is her. But think about it. You cannot tell me, especially. She talked about she wasn't wealthy. Her family had to do all the thing. It never occurred to her. Like if her grandkid goes, hey, Meemaw, I don't know how I'm going to pay for college. And she was like, oh, I guess you got to get that part-time job. Or you can sell the heart of the ocean, chick.
Yeah.
That's all
Probably
I'm saying.
So you can enjoy some of that money too. I mean, right after the day.
Yeah.
Hey, what's this thing worth?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, if anybody should have ever, and the person that I've seen that Titanic many times, the first time I ever watched when I moved to our great state, is the person that had the most right to be annoyed in that movie was Billy Zane. First off, you're Billy Zane. Let's just start there. Like we may have to Fandemic. Who of any actor you wish you could never be? Like part of me would go like Billy Zane. Jason Patrick, C. Thomas Howell. I don't know. Tommy Chong being your father-in-law may have his advantages. Uncle Cheech, come on now.
I mean, that's pretty solid. I mean, man.
I mean, we both are again about the same age bracket. Ray Don Chong was right there. There in the 80s. Like her or Jamie Gertz, and I remember like, you know what? So you had to drink Kiefer Sutherland's blood, probably got a little hepatitis, but you got Jamie Gertz, bro.
I
Like,
don't. I mean, like you kind of hit
yeah,
your pinnacle right there, man. I
right?
mean, everything after that is
Absolutely.
just downhill.
Yeah, like, and whatever happened to Letty? Like, that's what we need in Lost Boys too. I get it. Like, what happened to Letty? Like, you were a
Mhm.
vampire like 7, and they dressed you like Sergeant Pepper.
I mean,
Like,
I
what
think
happened?
there was a Lost Boys
I
2,
think there was
3,
2, and I think there
17,
wasn't. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean,
Kind of like
but that
Dusk
is
Till Dawn. Once they start
right.
making, here's again, we have all these rules about sequels. If you have a trilogy, stop at 2. You have a sequel,
Mhm.
stop at 1. If you do make a sequel and no one from the original is in it, skip it.
Besides Corey Feldman,
But
that rule does
and,
not count for Corey
first of all,
Feldman,
RIP
especially if
to
he's on. If
yeah,
he,
okay, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim. I'm gonna say
right,
RIP. Corey Feldman, has he
yeah,
ever turned like, and again, RIP to Dustin Diamond as well. But Corey Feldman and Dustin Diamond, along with Eric Estrada, I don't think they ever turned down a check.
right.
I don't think they ever. And by the way, Chuck Woolery, I don't know why. Every commercial I saw this weekend, Chuck Woolery's trying to sell me gold. I'm like, from the newlyweds game. No, it was
Yeah.
a dating game. Like every other commercial, Chuck Woolery trying to sell me gold. I'm like, no, Chuck, no. No, Chuck. All right, continue with your thing, man. I'm sorry,
Oh no,
I took
you're
us
good.
way
You're
far
good, man.
afield.
So actually, a couple things happened. One, we have a new rating system.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
just gonna kind of go over this, and we'll get your thoughts on that really quick, and then we'll go over our favorites of the week, and then we'll start talking about our topic. So here's the rating system. My number one. So we're gonna do 5, 1 through 5. 5 is really good. 1, not so good. A number 1. So our
But
low
that
end of our rating
preventative,
scale.
we'll always keep it positive. Let's
That's
hit it.
right. Is a you shall not pass. Brian, can you give me your best Gandalf?
You shall not pass.
I buy it. I buy it. We actually okay. So, do you want to do the next one, or you want me to do the next one?
I want you to do that, but here's the deal. So, and again, one of the things again shows breaks in logic. When there's a big fire demon coming at you, when the Balrog is coming to you, why the hell did Gandalf have to go fly, you fools? I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm gone. I'm like, there should not have been anybody. We're already going on these broken stone
mhm,
stairs that are not, well lit. And
right,
you see the bell. It's time to go.
right. We have the flying creatures.
Yes.
We should have got on them at the
Yes.
Elves Town and
Yes.
just flew there, guys.
Yes.
We should just flew there, flew to Mordor.
Why did Peepaw have to break down the stairs?
Why did we have to get so many freaking steps?
Yes,
It's true.
absolutely. By the way, could you imagine having a Fitbit doing Fellowship? Like you're like between Fellowship and Return of the King. Can you imagine the steps that they took? Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
All right,
yeah.
sir. You do
Next.
next, my friend.
Would be, are you not entertained? Yes.
Yes. Yes, yes. And again, my mom, who's fantastic, used to share with a couple of actors. Russell Crowe's one of them. Like he just sounds like he needs a little Miralax.
hmm
Just Russell always just had that, like it sounded like he had a little, like he had a little fiber to the diet.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Have you seen it Unhinged?
I have not seen Unhinged.
There's a glass scene with
Okay.
glass going into an eye, and it freaks me out to this day. Man.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right.
Our middle of the road 3 is
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Yes. Now, on the more positive stuff, we have a number 4 points. A 4 would be, may the force be with you always.
All right, we got to pause on this one.
Okay.
So here's why. I loved it, and I love the image you put up, the meme of Yoda. Again, I'm leaning on your Star Wars knowledge here.
Mm-hmm.
So we know "May the Force be with you" is the code, the credo of the Jedi, and of course, the most popular, well-known, powerful Jedi Master is Yoda.
Yeah.
But Yoda and whatever species, because they've never named, I don't believe, the species of Yoda,
Correct.
Yoda, Yazzle, Grogu, and presumably others, the syntax in which they speak is reverse. So does Yoda actually say? I'm trying to think. I always remember other characters saying, "May the Force be with you." Yoda, Obi-Wan, all those characters. I'm trying to think. I'm
I
not
knew where
Yoda.
you're
Luke.
going.
Luke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Yoda say it? May the Force be with you, or does he flip it like "Force be with you" or something like that, or "May"? You know what I'm saying? Like, does Yoda say "May the Force be with you" in that order?
So this is what the Google says, the first thing that popped up, because I knew exactly where you're going. And it says, yes, Yoda says, "May the Force be with you" in Star Wars franchise. The
Okay.
line is used by several characters throughout the series. Yoda also says, "For my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is," in episode 5 of The Empire
Sure.
Strikes Back.
Sure.
However, but it doesn't tell me when he says it, because I can't think of it
It typically
either.
is others saying it, you know. And again, there's 9 movies and out of the side
Yeah,
projects. I completely would completely buy in and goes absolutely Yoda says it. I'm having a hard time. Number one, thing every time that he actually says the line. Number two,
yeah.
given how he typically speaks, I don't think he would say it that way. But I digress. All right. Then
Mhm.
we got our number one highest rating. We really
Yes.
dig it. Show it to me, my friend.
This is a no. I am your father.
This is what most of us say when someone calls and go, "Hey, we need to talk." No.
Right, exactly. Or Maury. We're talking
Yeah.
about Maury. Yeah.
Of the things that which one of these would you be less likely to do? Answer an invitation to the Maury Povich show, or or be invited to watch a Andor marathon.
Oh damn.
You have no idea what Maury's asking you. Like, "Hey, I want you to come on the
Okay.
show."
I'm gonna have to go with Andor just by a little bit. At least with Andor, I can sleep, and it
Facts.
won't take me long to
Facts.
get there.
So yeah, can you imagine just to put this additional worry in your world, Bradley? Can you imagine going on Maury, no idea, and you walk out there and there's your oldest just chilling?
Uh,
Dad, we need to talk.
yeah, that was. Yeah. Oh man. No, let's not do
Yeah,
that.
let's don't say we did.
We're
Yeah,
not going to more. We're not
no, we're
going
not
to.
going to Maury. That's what you never saw about on Maury. Just grab their child and go, like whatever it is you want to talk about. Nah,
We're good.
nah. We're okay. We're okay. Yeah,
All
Chicago be
right,
damned. All
Brian.
right, let's hit it.
What is your favorites of the week?
Okay.
Movies, TV shows, and more.
I've got 3 favorites of the week. So first off, I want to give all credit. I want to give you your flowers, my friend. So you recommended a movie to me, and that scene pop up on my Peacock suggestions multiple times, but I just hadn't watched it. I'm a huge fan of Paul Giamatti. I just hadn't gotten around to watching it. Based on your recommendation, I watched The Holdovers. So good. So
Yeah,
good. It deserves all the Oscar credit it gets. I hope it wins.
agree.
It is fantastic. So for those
It
of you
is
that
Knuff.
it is Knuff. For those of you that have the Paramount, excuse me, the Peacock, I want to get my
Mhm.
P's right. Those that have the Peacock streaming service, the film is called The Holdovers. And I was watching it thinking, kind of, I know where this movie's going. And then they had what happened because of the helicopter. And I don't want to give spoilers.
Yeah,
And I was already digging the movie, thinking where I knew it was going. But then when that kind of shifted the goal, the kind of where the movie went, I absolutely loved it. And again, Paul Giamatti, who I first saw in Big Fat Liar with your boy Freddie Muniz and
yes.
Amanda
Amanda
Bynes.
Bynes.
Yes.
Yes.
R.I.P. to someone that had a lot of talent in a lot of ways in Amanda Bynes. And yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some of that going on this last week.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll probably skate around that one, but
Yeah, we're gonna move it. All right,
yeah,
next
yeah.
up. Next up, my show of the week is continuing on the most recent episode of Percy Jackson. Brad, do we know how many episodes in the season? 'Cause I think this last episode was episode 7.
I think
So
it's
given
8.
this is
I think
I
the
think it is 8,
finale
good.
is next week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta give them credit. So typically, the series we see on Disney Plus, at least come out weekly, typically are connected to something out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or Star Wars. We have something that really falls completely aside of that, and I just think the casting has been just so great. The
Yeah.
acting talent, especially for the guys, because we've seen Lin Manuel, we've seen obviously Edge, who, by the way, that's final scene where you see
Dude,
Percy and
yeah.
Edge, and I love the fact that they don't give two F's. Like it was like when Edge came back and he saw Matt Hardy. It's like, okay, we're gonna have to do this. Like, so Percy
Hmm.
doesn't even. And by the way, Percy in this is, I think the actor is, if he's not actually 12, is really close.
Hmm.
You see him click the pen while Ares, who Edge Adam Copeland plays, is has like his sword ready, and there's like, we understand we're here to fight, and I'm like, but you're 12 fighting literally the god of war,
Yeah.
like everybody's like, totally believable.
Yeah,
Totally
well, yeah,
believe. I want to
of
watch
course.
this. I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
watch this.
His
Okay.
name is in the show. Is the name of the show. So he's
Yes.
got
Like,
this.
go. By the way, is there a more badass person named Percy ever?
Uh, and we could talk about Shawshank Redemption,
Oh
but that's the only other Percy that
yeah.
comes into mind. And the
Yeah.
Percy was not a good one in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. Yes, sir. And then my game of the week, I've actually had it for about a week and a half, but I just finally got around to breaking it in just because work's been busy. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So,
Tell me
Bradley,
about that.
so my two favorite video game series is have been historically God of War and The Prince of Persia, and this was the revisiting of the Prince of Persia series after about a 14-year break.
Yeah.
So the most recent version of, at least on the main console, they've had
Mhm.
like mobile apps and things like that. But as far as the last big release would have been Prince of Persia back in 2014. So what this picks up, it is a revamp of the series. I'm about, for what the story tracker says, I'm about 4% through the story. Is number one, we've moved away from the previous prince to an actual group called the Immortals, and you played one of the members, and it's really got a lot of multifaceted pieces. Really good on, it's a lot of gameplay, has a lot of acrobatics, that
Mhm.
we're getting to the part where things like time are starting to kind of, maybe you see like the magical piece of it. So the game starts out with, it's really kind of on a lot of dash and a lot of hack and slash, now
Yeah.
parrying melee moves, but now we're starting to see more of the mystical elements of the show as things go. I like, and one of the things that's been really cool, before I delve too in the weeds of it, is the game actually puts it on you to do things to remember certain pieces, which is the game, as I've never had a game do this for. The game comes with a screenshot feature, which is where, as you have a map of the game, as you see things that you want to remember, you can actually take a screenshot of that room, of that whatever, pin it on the map so you can remember to come back to it as your abilities allow you to do those things.
Interesting.
So I was like, that is, and they actually have a key, an emblem key within the game where you can mark things high priority, where you really like not only do that, but if you want to go like, hey, if I want to prioritize which one of these I want to come back to based on whatever information you have, you can definitely do those as well. So I mean, so it's built in really of this whole very expansive map for you to
Mhm.
to create, to really personalize. So I really dug it, and I'm really glad. So, using our new rating system, I'm just going to start with Prince of Persia. I'm gonna give it, because the animation is a little different. It is not is a 2.5D versus the 3D, which what the previous versions are. So it's basically a complete lateral movement, going horizontally across the screen instead of really going to the depth of it. So with that, I got to give it, at this point, given our new one, I will go. I'm going to say the force will be with me, because I will definitely be playing this really routinely. I also broke into a little my Nightmares Part 2. That also has been really good. But a couple games I've had for a while that just get a chance to break into them. Far as, and we can talk about Percy Jackson, the holdovers, I really want your opinion. That one again, I will give it a, I would definitely say the force is with me on that one. Really good, and I love the ending. I love it. Was an ending that we should have gotten.
Mhm.
And then Percy Jackson, you know what? Because we know what it is Poseidon, but for this, you know what? For Vader is going to be his father, given the most recent episode. And really the overarching, and how cool would that be, by the way? Can you imagine that fraternity battle? Poseidon go, I'm his dad. Here comes Anakin. No, I'm his father. And you know what? I would love to see that. But who would you have? Poseidon or full on Sith Lord Vader in a fight?
As your dad, I feel like I'm probably gonna get more of a nurturing, good father from Poseidon. However, it's not that way with Percy.
Now, as a fan of Greek mythology, here's the mixed bag with that. So there's the lovely sea nymphs in Greek mythology who love to, let's say, Netflix and chill. Here's the only problem of it. If you're Percy Jackson, they're all your half sisters.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yep.
And there's that. And there's that. All right, sir. What about you?
Oh, so for my favorites of the week, my favorite TV show, I'm up to date with Percy Jackson. I'm really digging For All Mankind. It's probably going to be one of my
Apple Plus, correct?
Apple Plus is going to be
Yep.
one of the best. It's one of the best TV shows I've ever watched. But
Yep.
I'm not into the newest season yet, so I don't
Okay.
want to. I won't give that a rating. Although right now, from what I've seen, it's definitely going to be a No, I Am Not Your Father. But the Traders on Peacock is killing it right now. I'm gonna say the trade. So
Anything with Alan Cummings is great.
Dude,
Anything with Alan Cummings is great.
Yeah, and I love those trashy reality shows. Big Brother.
I'm about to say I know you got some Big
Survivor.
Brother loves.
I
Yeah.
mean, right. And Traders is it's
By the way,
interesting.
they're all better than Grey's Anatomy. They're all superior to Grey's Anatomy.
Truth. And we're going to get into the truth because the truth came out number 12 or 13 in the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Like I did there.
Dude. When we're so for those of you that don't know, so typically, and I want you to finish your best stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we're gonna do a little different show tonight because typically we talk. We've already talked a bit about movies and TV. Then we typically go through our list about our favorite actors, our list, how we break things down, revenge different things. But Brad and I are both huge professional wrestling fans, and would it be fair to say that the WWE has some stuff come out this week as well?
Mm-hmm.
But the WWE, as far as the product that they're putting on television, the things we're seeing in the ring. They're trending strong. They have in years.
Yeah.
Which is really because we see Triple H, Paul Levesque, really at that taking the reins over from Vince McMahon, and now that's definitely going to be a permanent gig. If there was any question about that before this week, but really dug that. But please go ahead. And I have another thing for you regarding that towards the tail end of our show. But please,
okay, cool.
Go ahead, sir.
Nope, the Traders. It's just a fun show. Every week they have their secret society gets to kill somebody, or in other words, give them a little letter saying that they're going home. It's fun. You can watch it. It's brainless, mindless. You're gonna get into it. I guarantee you. I'm gonna give that one. I'm into the series, so like I'm gonna give this a 4 because I'm into it. It's into my fandom. Okay.
Gotcha. Before we jump in, I got one good question because right before I hopped on, I saw that the new season's coming out. Have you gotten a chance to get into a show that's on Fox called Animal Control?
I forgot all about that show. I did.
It got stronger. So I got 2 updates for shows that we typically are on regular TV that we're not having to stream. So number 1 is Animal Control with Joel McHale, who started off, back on The Soup and did some other things. He's had a few different shows on. He typically in movies he plays like the good-looking kind of D-bag, especially in Blended with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. He had a couple. He had the great Indoor show that I think would have been fine, but the pandemic hit, and I think that really killed it. So with Animal Control, which kind of falls in the line of Scrubs, Tacoma FD, those let's take these people that work these jobs that we may not ask for me. We've all been to the doctor, I'm assuming, but really play with that. And I mean, the second season's coming. It looks really good. And then I never thought I'd say this, but Bradley, just because I needed something to watch one night, I started streaming the second season of Night Court. It's much better.
That makes me happy because you're not the only person to tell me this.
They've had some casting changes.
Okay.
And that has they have a new clerk. Not that the previous clerk was bad, they weren't.
Yeah.
But the new clerk who is, I don't know if you ever saw. Did you ever see oh shoot, Mike and Molly?
Yeah.
Okay. So the African gentleman who ran kind of the diner, he is now and I can't remember his character's name. He is now the court clerk.
Interesting.
And he actually holds his own. It doesn't try for as much slapstick stuff. Like, it's not rapid fire, the silly joke. They actually have things develop. And it sounds like it's heading that way, but I see it looks like Miss Leia has joined this.
Yep, we're gonna finish up this part here, and then she's
have her facts.
Oh, she does not have facts.
Okay.
She's got a test for you. She's got a quiz for you, for Uncle Brian.
Okay.
My game of the week is Zombicide. It's a board game. It's just a ton of fun. It's a strategic co-op game. We'll play it sometime for sure. My movie of the week. Okay, so I watched ISS.
Okay.
It is not my movie of the week.
Okay.
It is not very good. So we're just going to leave that there. I'm going to get into that on Fandemically Reviewed probably here this week. And then Top Gun came back to the theaters. Top Gun Maverick, right?
Okay.
And it was in ScreenX, so it was a new experience, and it was pretty freaking awesome. So that and Holdovers are going to be my movies of the week. Now, with that, Top Gun will definitely. They're making a new one. I think it's a little too soon, but whatever.
Yeah.
May the force be with you. We're all into Top Gun.
Part of me goes, especially how, if you haven't seen Maverick, not to give you any spoilers, but the way that ends, especially how they handle the Iceman character, part of me goes, just let it be done.
Exactly.
Just let it be done.
Exactly. All right. Now, Leia, you.
I bring my tissues.
Oh,
she apparently needs more tissues. Okay.
Yeah, she's caught in a cold. So, all right, kiddo. Buy me here.
I forgot my water.
So, ask the questions.
No, Daddy, I need to do my stay healthy.
So, by the way, Bradley, it's a little different because your daughter said she needs more tissues, sign she has a cold. I have a son that when he was running through the house, they needed more tissues.
Yeah.
Do not sit on the couch.
Nope.
Can I give you a hug? No. And stop petting the cat. All right.
And you know what? I'll get that from the other side of the room myself. I don't need the remote either.
Now I gotta go watch the cat. Yeah, absolutely.
What's so funny?
Nothing, a joke. All right. Go tell Brian what you're gonna do.
I'm gonna do WWE Liv Morgan.
Do you have questions about Liv Morgan?
Yes, Daddy, I'm getting there.
Okay.
All right. I am not an expert on Miss Liv, but let's hear. Let's see what I can do.
Oh, you should have seen my reaction to her coming. I might have screamed a little bit too loud.
Tell your dad I had a strong reaction to Liv Morgan as well.
Brian Dennis also had a strong reaction to Liv Morgan.
Oh.
Okay. My first question is, when did she go into WWE?
When did Liv Morgan go into the WWE?
Yeah.
I think for a second. Liv Morgan. She's fairly new. She would have been there before the pandemic.
Do I get a guess too?
If you want.
Okay, I'm gonna go 2014.
Okay. Daddy, you want to guess?
I'm getting this is 2018.
Brian Dennis is closer. 2015.
Okay.
Not 2018, Daddy. That's too. No.
Okay, go next question.
When did Liv Morgan join the Riot Squad?
I remember this. It was in 2017. She joined the Riot Squad in 2017.
Oh, Daddy, when do you think she joined the Riot Squad?
2017.
But if you got that one right.
All right.
When did she end? When did she like not be in the Riot Squad anymore?
Ugh. Okay, hang on. When did she leave the wire? Or when the oh god. Part I think people were released too. So I don't think the Riot Squad was around that long. Let's say a couple years. So I'm gonna go 2019.
Daddy?
2019.
At the beginning of 2020.
Okay, we'll count that as
All
well.
right, well, that's close. That's close.
Yeah, the Riot Squad was most famous in 2019.
Okay.
Like the beginning-ish.
Okay.
This one's gonna be an easy one. Why was she not here for the last like 5-6 months?
She had a shoulder injury.
Yeah, but
Injury.
no, Daddy, he said what injury it was. What type of injury was it?
It was the kind that hurt.
No, Daddy. No, what body part of hers got hurt?
Can't say that on a kid on a show right now.
Daddy.
Okay, her butt.
Daddy.
Okay, ass.
Daddy. It was her shoulder.
That was gonna be my
Or
third
her
guess.
arm. Oh my goodness.
All right, last question.
Well, this is a bonus question to the fourth question.
Oh,
Who broke her shoulder?
she did.
No, Daddy, no.
She.
Daddy, stop it.
How does somebody else break their?
What's your answer? Just don't look at him. He's just.
Mommy.
What type of mommy?
What type of mom? What kind?
Oh, do you mean Rhea Ripley?
Rhea
Yes,
Ripley,
Rhea
right?
Ripley.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to have a second to think about that one.
So your dad and I
Alright,
are
tell
both
Brian
going
how
to
he
say
did,
Rhea
and then we're
Ripley
gonna
hurt
do
her
it
Look,
again.
shoulder.
Daddy,
Yeah.
that was only the fourth question.
Okay, one more then.
No, I think that was 5, but okay.
No, that was the bonus question to the fourth question.
Oh,
Well, the
okay.
fifth
Then
question.
please go ahead.
Alright.
All right, number 5.
Go ahead. Give me the
Um,
little girl side eye.
bombastic side eye.
Okay, bombastic side eye.
Yeah.
Alright, what's the final question?
What happened to her when she was gone?
Judgment Day.
No,
She was
That happened too.
breathing. What do you mean? What happened
No.
to her?
she went to jail for a drug
Oh.
overdose.
Yeah, they also dropped the charges, so she's
Okay.
fine. Okay.
Okay, but that still happened.
Alright, tell Brian bye bye.
No, not yet.
Honey, we gotta get going.
Haven't you already started?
Yes.
I watched my movie.
Okay.
It was okay. Why did you take them away?
All right. You go rest.
Hold on. Look at how cute my tissue box is.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Say bye bye.
Okay, Daddy. I have one more thing. This is why I brought my water bottle down here. Stay healthy.
Okay, we'll stay healthy. All right. Take your tissues.
I will. Hold on, Daddy. You know I'm like the star of your podcast, right?
Yes, we know you're the star. Okay.
I know. Everybody looks forward to me.
I know.
We do.
Goodbye.
We do.
All right, we do. All right, baby girl, love you. Okay.
What I was looking forward to was Liv Morgan. That was I kind of want there to be a Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss tag team, just so you know, like which is which.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like
I
they
know.
totally steal each other. I mean, their gimmicks are so similar. I mean,
I
obviously they're not
know.
identical, but their gimmicks are so similar. It's like, you really need one of them. By the way, I gotta get. I wonder how did they decide the cameraman or camera person they got to film Rhea Ripley walking down that long hall in that skin tight outfit? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like whoever like, yay, I get to yeah, like you drew the short straw long. I bet it was a long strap. Never mind. But yeah. So all right, let's get into it. The
Yeah.
Royal Rumble, my friend.
Yes. Oh
So this
man.
was I believe it said the 37th Royal
Mhm.
Rumble, came from Tampa Bay. While we didn't get Hulk Hogan in the match, I was hoping we wouldn't, because Hulk Hogan, I think, is in his mid sixes at this point. We got plenty of Hulk Hogan talking it through. Tampa is his spot. When I was in college, Thunder in Paradise, that was filmed in the Tampa Bay area, was such a big show. But we got a card that only had 4 matches but went about 4 hours.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. There's lots of online reviews. It's kind of split between people who preferred the men's Rumble match versus the women's Rumble match, and then we also had 2 title matches as well. But
Mhm.
let's just go in the order of the event, which started off with the women's Royal Rumble match, and how that whole thing began. So first off, when we look at the Royal Rumble, I forget. Do you remember who was first up in the women's Royal Rumble?
Bailey.
Bailey was Bailey number one?
I think so. Yeah, it was
I thought Bailey
Bailey,
was
and then
number
it was
3.
Naomi, and then it was yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm checking that because I thought it was. I thought, and I meant to have this athlete pulled up. So give me a second
No, it
here.
was Natalia.
Yes,
It was
Natalia was number
Natalia,
1.
then
Yes, yes,
Bailey.
yes,
That's
yes.
right. That's right. Yeah. Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
yep, yep. So it went Natalia, then Bailey, then I'm sorry, Natalia, then Naomi,
Mhm.
and which is really great because if for folks that don't know the behind the scenes, Naomi is actually, whose real first name is Trinity. Her name is Trinity Fatu. She's actually married to Jimmy Uso, so that was cool to see her back
Yes.
in the fold there. But then on top of that, we got to see number 3, Bailey. We had a couple different surprises. Number 1 surprise entrant, number 5, was Jordan Grace from TNA. Not only is she from TNA, so Brad and I are texting back and forth, and we're talking about how when they brought back Naomi, who had been gone for about 2 years, that it mentioned her accomplishment within the WWE, but also while she was gone, she had won the women's title in a much smaller but a rival promotion
Mhm.
in TNA. So in US wrestling, you've got the WWE as the largest organization. After that, you've got AEW, and then after that, you've got TNA or Impact. They've gone by a few different names, and she was their women's champion. I remember texting you going, Michael Cole, the commentator, just said TNA live on the air, which they never do.
Yeah.
They never acknowledge people's previous wrestling organization unless it's been something they've now bought. They'll mention WCW and ECW now because they own those things, but never you hear that mentioned. And then shortly after that, we get at number 5 Jordan Grace, who is the current TNA Women's Champion. So not only did they have someone from a rival promotion, that rival promotion's champion of the women's division who showed up with the belt on television. That was incredible. That was,
Yeah.
first off, kudos to Triple H. I'm curious what this means for things going forward, because TNA has had a relationship with AEW in the past. Now, Tony Khan, who owns AEW, also owns Ring of Honor, uh, but they had a really strong working relationship with TNA. Now, I'm curious what this means for the future of this, especially. I'm a wrestling nerd. The WWE in 2025, Brad, I don't know if you saw the news. They are going from Raw
Mhm.
is going from the USA Network to um, Netflix.
Yes.
$5 billion, I think, over 6 years. But that would leave potentially space on USA for maybe another wrestling show. And if you are TNA, and I think they're on Access or some very small network, if you could be on something like USA to get more eyeballs, that could really help which can be a very quality show, but a very small show compared to the eyeballs that are on. Anyway, before we get too much into that, just some other notable entries. I've got it pulled up now that we can see it. So we had Asuka. Basically, you had the entirety of Damage Control that wrestle right now. So you had Bailey coming in at number 3. You had Asuka coming in at number 7. You had Kairi Sane, her tag team partner, coming in at number 11. You had Nia Jax coming in, and then you had lots of different people coming in, but probably one of the biggest things that got people off their seat was at number 28, sir, and that was the in-ring debut of a former AEW women's champion, TBS champion, is one Jade Cargill.
Yeah, so at one time there was a TNA, well, obviously WWE, a
Yep.
TNA, AEW, and WWE in the same ring at the same time. I mean, obviously she's not AEW now, but whatever.
But most recent was seen on in the ring wrestling AEW, and again held the AEW TBS title, which is kind of their secondary title in the women's division. The current TNA World's Champion, and people vying. And this whole match is about someone that could challenge for one of the WWE's women's titles. So that was just incredible.
Yeah.
And we had that great moment. Number 1, we had 2 with Jade. And if you don't know Jade Cargill, just Google Jade Cargill, and you will see what an
You're
impressive.
welcome.
Yes, you are welcome. And I'm she's a gorgeous woman, but she's a physical beast. Like,
Yeah.
she lifts all the heavy things, and the heavy thing she lifted, heavy person, was Nia Jax, and that was done so well that they showed her. And you know what, Nia Jax. All bodies are beautiful. Nia Jax is not the typical body type you see as a WWE women's wrestler, and they gave her a lot of respect in this match, but they let her use her size, her advantage, as she should. But when you saw Jade, you got to see Jade lift her up for like a kind of a sort of a sideways Samoan drop, almost like an F5, and obviously your FU or attitude adjustment, they now call it. But then she straight up slammed her out of the ring. That was impressive. That was incredible.
I concur.
And then you had the moment with our girl Jade and the EST. I almost said Sasha Banks. The EST, Bianca Belair. 2 women that I guarantee you are on a collision course, maybe at this year's WrestleMania. So that was fantastic. And then, Brad, do you remember our final 3 from the Rumble, from Women's Rumble?
I remember Liv Morgan.
She was I remember Liv Morgan. I also remember Tiffany Stratton, who came out.
Yep.
Who, again, if you want to Google Tiffany Stratton, you also are welcome. But the final 3 were Jade Cargill, Liv Morgan, and Bailey. So Bailey, who came in at number 3, Jade, who came in at number 28, and Liv, who came in at number 30. They had a great back and forth with all 3 women kind of on the ring apron. And then we get Bailey, and they did a great job of building this throughout the match. That's what some people said they didn't like about it. They go, well, you could tell if you listen to what the commentators were saying. Well, because they mentioned that the only thing she had not done in her career regarding a championship was winning the Rumble. She's been Miss Money in the Bank. She's held all the titles, at least on the main roster. In fact, she was also NXT Women's Champion as well. And so her winning the Royal Rumble is kind of her getting that last accomplishment. They had a great back and forth and a spot where Jade and Liv fall off the apron while Bailey simultaneously puts herself back into the ring, and that builds that. Which now, Brad, it goes, who does she challenge? Does she challenge based on the current champions? Does she challenge the women's world champion in Rhea Ripley, or does she challenge the women's WWE champion in her stablemate Io Sky as part of Damage Control, sir?
Io Sky. She is
Io Sky.
there. She's gonna go back to being a babyface.
Yes, yes.
Yep. I mean, I really think that even the way they talked about her for the rest of the mat or the
Yep.
night,
Yep.
just leads credence to it. Like she's over that, and she's kind of on the outs of it anyway. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
And this will work because I don't think Damage Control is going anywhere. Because you still have the Kabuki Warriors in Kairi Sane and
Mhm.
Asuka as the women's tag champs. You got Io Sky as the women's champ. You got Dakota Kai, who can be kind of that manager space as well. Dakota Kai's pretty good in the ring, but I think she could maybe find her second that as a manager while she's currently out with a knee injury. And then I agree with you. This to kind of do a break with Damage Control. Bayley can go back to being a babyface. She's not been a babyface for a few years. I liked her turning heel because it got rid of kind of the as she got as her fan base got older, the huggy thing just wasn't connected as much
Mhm.
anymore. So now she can kind of find how that character works as a baby face. And I agree with you. I think we're going to see her versus Io Sky at WrestleMania 40. So, sir, using our new rating system, what are you going to give the women's Rumble match, my friend?
I am going to give the women's match definitely, may the force be with you, a 4.
I concur. I'll give it a 4. Next up, we had the men's world title, undisputed Universal Championship, which is always weird to say. One brand has the world title, the other brand has the Universal titles. Like, well, the universe is bigger than the world, but okay. But
Yep.
it's got our boy Roman Reigns. So before this match started, number one, I love something that Michael Cole did because instead of letting things kind of fester with fan bases, which they would have done before because they just ignore things, Cole just put out there. He goes, a lot of the fans complain that Roman Reigns doesn't defend the title every week. He's only on the show maybe every couple of months. And then Michael Cole goes, so what you should say when you have a badass as your champion is don't like him being the champion, beat him. And I love that. I love that. So he's defended the title. And when he doesn't defend it nearly as much as a lot of other champions, including the current world champion Seth Rollins. However, it is a matter of beat him. And the other part of it was, I think this might have been Corey Graves goes, just look at the arena. So for those of you that go, he's only here every couple months, he's not every pay-per-view. When he shows up, and I was right there putting the one finger to the sky, he's the most over guy, as well as a heel. He's the most over heel they have on the roster. Probably the 3 most over men on their roster would be Cody, CM Punk, who both of us we'll talk about in a minute, as well as Roman Reigns, and then without doubt you could throw Rhea Ripley in that same category as well. So we had our Fatal 4-Way. You had AJ Styles, a lot of initials. We're gonna say AJ Styles, the Master of the RKO, and Randy Orton, our boy LA Knight, taking on Roman Reigns. We had the typical interference in the bloodline, but no one in their mother had to think Roman was going to drop this title this close to WrestleMania. He pinned AJ. What are your thoughts on the match, sir? Your rating, your thoughts? How'd you feel about the match?
Honestly, this was my least favorite match of the night.
Fair.
I did not think that any of them were on their game.
Yeah.
I thought Roman Reigns was definitely not on his game for the match at all. I mean, like it was. I found myself not even wanting to pay attention at points.
Yeah,
of the match.
It was hard to stay engaged in this one.
Yeah. In this, for one, why was it second? You would think that honestly.
Yeah,
the Logan Paul match.
Absolutely, I thought that the same when I said that when they after the women's rumble when they said, "Hey, we're coming back for the men's world title match." I'm like, shouldn't which we'll talk about next? Shouldn't the U.S. title, especially because it's on the same brand, shouldn't that come before that? So I'd have thought, and it typically ends with a rumble match, because that person's gonna point to the sign and all the things. So I got why it didn't close the show. But I didn't understand why it went immediately after the women's match instead of having that United States title match we'll talk about next. So yeah, that felt a little awkward. Again, there's all the things that we saw. I'm really digging Solo Sikoa though. I'm thinking once, probably after WrestleMania, I told you before, my thoughts is probably going to get less Roman Reigns for. I know Roman Reigns is part time basically, especially when he shows up, but I can see them taking Roman Reigns off television for a while and really making it about Solo Sikoa, and possibly being the next challenger for who I think is going to walk out of WrestleMania holding the SmackDown Universal Championship. But with that being said, again, we had the requisite interference. Roman wins the match. The Tribal Chief will go to WrestleMania to defend, and we'll know more about who he's defending against here in a moment. And that led us to the other not singles match, the other championship match. This one actually is the only single match on the card, which was Logan Paul defending the United States Championship against we talk about my similarities to Batista and Shamar Moore and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Bro, you and Kevin Owens might be related.
You know what, dude? Like Anna said that in that match.
You and KO, you might be related, my friend, because you both of you have really strong beard games and a little bit of the ink. Are you Canadian, sir? Are you?
I am not, but you know what? I have been to Canada a few times, so there's
been to Canada a few times. Okay,
I may have left a couple of things in there.
Yeah, I was thinking probably bring a couple things back and then I'll check the glove box, whatever works for you. Yes, sir.
I may have left a deposit. Let's just say that.
We will leave it at that. All right.
Or else I might end up on Maury.
Yes, sir. Okay. So yeah. So you got Logan versus Kevin Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. I thought this was a really good match. Again, none of the single matches. Again, what wound up happening is Owens, and they did a great job of having, which might be his new stable, at least until he takes he's part-time as well. But I love the fact that they brought in Grayson Waller and Austin Theory to kind of be down there, and they slip into old school wrestling. My son was white. That's the most old school wrestling he has seen in a while. Hey, here's the brass knucks, and the nuts, instead of being used by the heel, KO grabbed them, knocked out Paul. We get the 1, we get the 2, and I'm thinking, oh crap, they might actually do something. And then the ref sees the knuckles on Kevin Owens' hand, DQs him, and in wrestling, titles do not change on disqualification anyway, but also that meant Logan Paul won the match and retained. So how were your feelings on this match compared to especially the world title match? So the two non-Rumble matches.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one again. I'll be back right there in the middle, man. It was better than the world title, or better than the Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a Rumble match, and
right.
It's hard, especially for something like the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber, to throw in those other matches.
Yeah,
because they just
everything's about what's going to be at WrestleMania, right? Everything's about And with both of those, I mean, they've had title changes at both the Royal Rumble and at the Elimination Chamber, especially, and they have changed the World Champion. They've had those belts changed at those events leading into WrestleMania. Not nearly regularly, but it can happen. So it's not like, hey, whoever walks into the Royal Rumble or whoever walks to the Elimination Chamber, they're definitely going to be going through to WrestleMania. But more often than not, they are. In fact, you may not see that title even defended because, okay, this is going. But I think in both these matches, we knew that Roman Reigns was not losing the Universal title.
Yeah.
And we knew that Logan Paul is not losing the United States Championship. There was nothing, pardon me, my friend. There was nothing necessarily, especially with the U.S. title, man. There wasn't anything fundamentally wrong with the match other than we knew Kevin Owens is not losing. I mean, Kevin Owens doesn't win the title.
Yeah.
That's just not happening, right? So I hate to call either of those matches filler, but they kind of were filler.
They were.
They had 2 matches with 6 wrestlers that were basically filler, building to, which might have been a better spot for some feuds. Like that might have been a better spot to have the Carlito versus Santos Escobar match that we saw actually on SmackDown.
That
That might have,
apple.
yes,
Let's talk about the apple for a second. I mean, he pulled that out, and I was
right?
like,
Ah,
should he be taking a bite of that? You know,
yeah, you know,
I mean, I wanted to see the apple.
yeah, but
It's maybe not super sanitary. I
maybe
mean,
talk about shining it up a little bit. Like
right?
I would have been fine. Like, dude, you want a washcloth? You some Purell?
Yeah.
Like, are you good, bro?
We'll wait.
We're good.
We'll wait. Yeah.
Yeah. But they could have done that match. They could have had the women's tag match. I mean, obviously the women that were in the tag team match were also in the women's rumble, so they may have had to pivot a couple things there. But I think they could have given matches that were more in line with the feud
Mhm.
versus title matches. Because in those matches, like, okay, we're maybe selling an issue versus, again, two matches that we knew those champions are going to take those titles into WrestleMania. But then we get the highlight of the night, the men's Royal Rumble. And I actually like the fact we have two Rumbles. I like the fact that they vary which one leads, which one closes. I like having them book in the show. One year, I think they had them back to back. That's
That's
over
a
2
lot.
hours straight
Yeah.
of a match without a break versus one having them book in the show. And then we had the men's Royal Rumble match. So, but Bradley, a couple things regarding that. So history was actually made in the Royal Rumble yesterday. Do you know what little tidbit of history? It's only the second time ever that this has happened. And I'm curious if you know the tidbit that only for the second time ever this has happened in Royal Rumble history. Do you know what little factoid I'm referring?
Is it the announcer going in?
No, that's actually happened a few times. This
Hmm.
was the first time. I thought for sure you know this one. This is the first time that the same competitor has been in both the men's and women's Royal Rumble. The first was Nia Jax a few years ago. The second was your boy, and say his name for those in the back, my friend.
R-Truth.
R
What's up?
Truth. What is up? By the way, I can tell you, reading tons of reviews from Sports Illustrated, Bleach Report, smaller blogs on the Royal Rumble. Again, some people said they liked the women's Rumble match better. Some said they liked the men's Rumble match better. As a whole, most people go, you know what, the two championship matches, nothing funny wrong with them, but for all the reasons I just said, but generally everyone's favorite part was R-Truth. If one person stole the show, it
Every
was
show.
R-Truth. By the way, did you see him on the pre-show? I don't know if you saw the pre-show at all.
I was watching the pre-show for a little bit,
Okay.
but I don't remember seeing
They
it.
did a thing where he didn't like his Royal Rumble. So where they're at Tropicana Field is the baseball stadium of the Tampa Bay Rays. So they actually had him in the batting cage trying to get a different, because he didn't like his Royal Rumble number. So him trying to find a different number, him actually trying to open baseballs because he thought that was where they had the Rumble number. And curious why he couldn't get the baseballs open. Him going to the women's match, and then being told, "Hey, this is the women's match. You got to go." And then obviously, one of the things that was just fantastic was in the men's Rumble match. I'm scanning through to see where he came out at. Looks like he came out at number 24. He coming out at number 24 right after JD Madonna, who actually is in the Judgment Day, and you've got Dom being put to sleep by Gunther, and R-Truth standing on the apron like it's a tag match, having his hand out trying to. And the best part is, and I'm sorry, I know he's polarizing person.
Yeah.
I love Dominic Mysterio. I think Dominic has really embraced his current deal. And the little thing, like when Truth says, "Hey, what about Tom and Nick?" Don't you mean Dominic? And
Yeah.
and he played with the whole R-Truth thing, telling, for those who don't follow the shows, R-Truth who is sort of kind of the leader of Judgment Day. He made a reference to Truth a few weeks ago when R-Truth, his tag team partner, going, "Don't tag in." So
Yeah.
R-Truth runs with this every time he shows up, treating every match like a tag match, and and you have Dominic literally being put to sleep by Gunther and Truth there. And the best part was when Dom actually gets loose from Gunther. Dom literally did tag in
I know.
Truth and tag like a hot tag, and Truth, and it was fantastic.
It was. Oh
It was
gosh.
fantastic. I mean, outside of like Cody and Punk, some people that are super duper over, Truth probably got the biggest pop from the crowd, and
Mhm.
and also got the most kind of awe. I mean, we knew Truth was not winning, but when
Right.
he was eliminated, you could just hear the fans go, "No, we want more R-Truth."
Dude, him and Miz.
Oh God, the awesome Truth in those moments. Yeah. I go back and I've shared this show before. I've gone back and forth on Ron Killings or R-Truth. He's again a former 2-time world champion in TNA. I actually looked up his bio earlier. Just pop quiz. So he's a 2-time NWA champion. He was in TNA.
Mhm.
He's a 2-time United States champion under the WWE. He's also he's the record holder when it comes to that 24/7 title that's now defunct. If you get it within 5, I'll give you credit.
Okay.
How many times has R-Truth been the WWE 24/7 champion? Get it within 5. I'll give you
17.
higher.
25.
One more guess. Higher.
43.
54.
54. Dude, that's all. Man, I'd like
54.
to. They
54.
need to bring back the 24/7.
54. And so before we talk about the rest of the card, because I know we both really love some R-Truth, I've gone back with the not really digging the R-Truth character. I think sometimes it played in some, I think, problematic tropes about
Mhm.
black men. I think his current iteration, because he's really just out there having fun. He's not a full-time wrestler. He's gotten older, all those things. But by the way, I'm curious, how old is he? So
52. 52
did you look
or
it up? He's
54.
52.
His
Okay.
birthday was just a couple days ago.
Yeah, he is 52. So, but with that being said, yeah, back on the 19th. So you're right, it was about a week ago. But with that being said, with the accolades of what he did at TNA, especially since WWE seems to be acknowledging TNA, he's held some tag team championships. He's 2-time United States champion, and again the 54 24/7 titles. In your mind, for the WWE Hall of Fame, not talking
Okay.
anything that the wrestling writers and all those things. I don't want to say more legit, but just the idea of the WWE Hall of Fame. Is R-Truth a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I
Man,
agree.
R-Truth, he brings, especially right now, right?
Yes.
Like he brings something that nobody else can do. And it's that it's that comedic relief. And like and it's not done poorly like Perry Saturn with
Right.
Moppy.
Yeah.
It's done in a way. Well, like you could just tell all these people just mad respect the dude, and they don't want him to show up in their promos because they're gonna break character.
Right, and he has natural comedic timing.
Yeah.
The best thing I can say was kind of back the most recent example would be when Sami Zayn was in the Bloodline, and you had Roman and the Usos and Solo being so, and even Paul Heyman being so serious, and you almost had to with Sami Zayn. He would just like, I don't know if you probably seen it on YouTube. You didn't watch it live on SmackDown, where they have this thing where Jay, before he left the Bloodline, was getting into it with Roman, and Sammy, I think as a throwaway line, I think it just came off the top of his head, give everybody his reaction. He said that Jay Uso just wasn't feeling very Usy. And it's fantastic if you YouTube it. You can see every member, other than Heyman, I think Heyman was off camera, but Jimmy Uso, Jay Uso, and Roman Reigns especially, because they're supposed to be mad, fighting so hard not to crack up. You can see that with some of the things with R-Truth, very similarly with the Judgment Day, such a serious faction, especially with Damian Priest, who is always stone-faced. And you've got Truth like, hey, I sold the T-shirts and all the thing. And every time he says, Jay McDonough, you're not in the Bloodline anymore. I am, and Tom and Nick and all those things. You can see him, number one, he's having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
it's not meant to dilute the stuff. He's not doing anything insulting or offensive.
Mhm.
And it's just, again, because he's had so much time in the ring, and he was out for a long time with an injury and all those things. It's just great to kind of see him getting it.
Yeah.
My one hope, and I can see this not happening, but my one hope is he, number one, gets a match at WrestleMania with someone in the bloodline, like maybe Dom or JD, or maybe a tag match with The Miz. So maybe we get that. But R-Truth has never won a WrestleMania match. I
Oh.
would love. So this being WrestleMania 40. He's 52. Who knows how long he's gonna keep doing this? I would love it somehow. And maybe that's what we get. Maybe we get, who knows? Maybe we get, how about this? The Awesome Truth versus Priest and Finn for the tag titles.
You know what? I think that's very, very plausible. Especially after the Rumble, because
he was
man,
eliminated by Priest.
Yeah, and not even eliminated by Priest, but
like he
viciously
yes,
eliminated.
he dumped his happy butt. Yeah.
And with that being said, like, and we've talked about this, I think that a Priest Truth tag team would be awesome.
I think so. And again, we talked about it before, like, how long does Judgment go as far as Judgment Day goes, especially with his current membership. And if anybody is really primed to break away from the Judgment Day, it could totally be Damian Priest. He's already senior Money in the Bank. So those things, he was a heel in NXT. When they brought him up to the WWE, when he first was on Raw, they made him a babyface. I think he's a more natural heel. He's super serious, but he could beat that really serious, kick-ass babyface. Especially given what I think is going to happen at Mania regarding Seth Rollins' title, the World Championship. I think, again, if we have Truth grows on him, them doing something as well. But R-Truth, I'm just going to go ahead and jump to it here in a moment. But before, normally we end the show, our Better Than Us Human of the Week, but I guess got to get said, R-Truth is my Better Than Us Human of the Week this week.
Mine too.
I think he absolutely made the Rumble. But in case anyone has forgotten how the internet works, just so everyone knows, the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble, in a great kind of mini match. It kind of reminded me back when it was Shawn Michaels and Undertaker kind of having a match at the end of a Rumble. We had a great match between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, and going back and forth. But eventually, Cody Rhodes won the match. And again, for those people that are going, well, it's kind of predictable. Again, we said this before. Just because it's what should happen doesn't mean that it was wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Just because it's predictable doesn't mean it's a bad idea. And before the show ended, we saw Cody point directed to Roman Reigns, basically saying he's going to try and finish the story in his match with Reigns. So with that, sir, how would you rate the overall men's match? And I got one last question before we get out of here for the evening.
Well, I actually got 5 questions for you.
Oh, I can't wait to hear my 5.
Yes.
So what do you think? What overall rating did you give the Rumble?
Okay, so first of all, the men's match, I'm right in the middle. I'll be back. I didn't think. I think for me, it's because I wanted to see. I wanted some more surprise, right?
There really weren't any real surprise interests. I'm scanning. I didn't really see any surprise interests in the men's Rumble. We only had a couple
careers being made.
There's a couple what?
Careers being made.
Right. So so I'm just Andrade. That's the only really.
Oh, Braun Breaker too.
Yeah. But Braun Breaker's already on NXT. Andrade we had returning, and again that's Charlotte Flair's husband, Ric Flair's son-in-law. Everybody else is kind of already here. We saw Omos come in, and then Pat McAfee, who we've seen in the Rumble a couple times,
which was a waste.
Yeah. I mean, they could. I mean, and McAfee, honestly, I know people really react to him. He seemed really off tonight. He does a lot of things on ESPN. He has his own show on, and all those things, and it's playoff times for the NFL. So it could have just been, hey, he just wasn't able to prep like he normally preps for this. I'm sure he was doing stuff for the NFL today. He just seemed off. Like, I normally enjoy Pat McAfee. I did not enjoy him with what he brought last night. So who knows?
I think a lot of the problems with the Rumble this time was due to media, the back. I think they made a
Yeah.
lot of last minute changes to
Yeah.
try to change like some perceptions,
Yeah.
but that's just my thoughts. So
And if you don't know who we're talking to, this is definitely, we don't have the time to deal with
yeah,
it. If you just Google Vince McMahon, if you have not done that recently, the internet will tell you what we're
yeah,
talking about. Yep.
yep. But I will overall, I'm gonna give the Rumble the May the Force be with you a
Yep.
4.
Yep.
Yep.
It typically is my second favorite pay-per-view of the year. It does what it's supposed to do, is lay the groundwork
Mhm.
for WrestleMania. So the last thing I have to do, which is wrestling related before we get to it, is so given that so again, the WWE, and I get people's criticism, they have 2 world titles for both the men and the women's division. So we pretty much know who's challenging Roman for the Universal title, Seth Rollins, who's the world champion. Uh, do you think we just get? Do we think we get an Elimination Chamber match at Elimination Chamber event, which I believe is which I believe is in Australia? And Punk wins that. Or how do you see we figure out who's going to challenge Rollins?
Yeah, I think they're gonna keep Rollins from performing. I
Yep,
think
yep.
the
I don't
next
think we
time
see him
he's
in the ring
gonna
until WrestleMania. Yeah.
yeah, and it's gonna be Punk. I think he's gonna win something probably at
Yeah.
Elimination
Okay.
Chamber.
All right. That
So,
makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
all
And
right,
they've got enough people they can put into it. All right, sir. You said
I
you
have
got 5
5
for me.
questions
Let's hit
for
it.
you.
Let's hit it, my friend.
Question number 1:
Yes,
what
sir.
was the best match of the night
From last night,
from last night?
I gotta go the women's. I gotta go the again overall best match of the night was the women's rumble.
I
Men
agree.
had the best ending, but from top to bottom, the women's match was the best.
Yes, worst match of the night.
The Fatal 4-Way. Fatal 4-Way.
Okay,
I
agreed.
actually kind of almost dozed off in it because not only did you know the end of it,
Yeah,
it should have been a one-on-one match because again the 4 of them, just like you said, they couldn't get their
yeah,
chemistry clicking, and you got to return to AJ Styles who got pinned for no real reason.
dude,
That
I
doesn't make it a
unloaded the
one-on-one match.
dishwasher during that match.
Yeah, yeah. If anything, it should have gave AJ.
Yeah,
If you want to protect LA Knight, I get that. You want to protect Randy Orton, I get that. Just either and I want to put Roman on television at least occasionally. That should have probably been maybe an AJ Roman one-on-one match, and then have Roman just beat him clean before we move towards WrestleMania.
I
All right.
agree. Best performance of the night.
Oh God, that one's tough.
Mhm.
So part of me wants to give it to Kairi Sane for that save she did in the women's match.
That was pretty cool.
But I gotta give it to Jade Cargill
Okay.
for that debut and how she handled in the ring and all those things. I think she did phenomenally. But I do want to add one little caveat again. Growing up in the South, huge American Dream Dusty Rhodes fan, to see Cody win his second Rumble in Florida, which is where his dad made his name and all of his career, was in the great state of Florida. And you see on his face how much that meant for Cody to not only win it his second time to go to WrestleMania back-to-back years, but to do it in the state of Florida. So that also just a really touching moment.
Nice. So my best performances of the night, I have Cody Rhodes and R-Truth.
How did I forget Truth? How on earth did I forget R-Truth? I got to throw R-Truth into that as well.
Okay. Worst performance of the night.
Pat McAfee. God,
Okay.
he was getting on my nerves.
Pat. Okay, I get that, and actually, I actually do not believe I'm gonna say this for worst performance of the night, but CM Punk.
You've shared you weren't, and my
I
son
am a
watched it with
big
you and my
CM Punk.
son. You and Brent said very similar things.
Yeah.
Because he was a huge Punk fan.
Yeah,
Both of you were really not feeling his performance last night.
yeah, man. I don't know. I felt maybe it was just off, but yeah, I want, and you don't even have to give me the old Punk,
Yeah.
but don't try to be the old Punk if you can't pull it off. Be the new Punk.
I think they need to honestly. He's gonna be a babyface until again. I think he's gonna be a babyface until Mania, and then he beats Rollins. But I think what they need to do with him is make him a heel. I think sooner or later, because all the stuff he did last night, trying to be like again in before the show started, they did a real quick interview. He's like, I'm so glad to be back, so good to be home, so nice to see everybody. All these things like. Whether he was a babyface or a heel a decade ago in WWE, he always was irritated. Like he always had the red ass. Like he was always mad about something. That's what made him CM Punk. And he told you what he thought about you and
Yeah.
didn't give two F's. He seems a little overly nice right now.
Yeah, age
So
is gonna do that to him, you know.
so
Cashing a
maybe
check.
yeah. So potentially maybe we get something, or maybe again, my guess is maybe after Mania he gets into his first like real hardcore feud, and maybe we get more Punks kind of coming out of it here. All right, sir. What's next?
Last question. Okay.
Sir.
WWE stars to watch out for. So whose careers were made last night? After last night?
Careers were made
Yes.
last night. I think Dominic Mysterio is setting himself up. I think so. I got a couple. So in the men's rumble, I'm going to go Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest. Both just continue to push that Judgment Day angle. I think we're going to see more Priest. I don't know if it made his career, but I think both Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker, long overdue, being on the main roster. We've seen Carmelo in a few different matches. I really love Braun Breaker. I mean, second generation star. He looks more like Scott Steiner's dad, Rick Steiner.
I know.
But, you know, which I go like, okay, they're full blooded brothers, so I get it. But also part of me, if I was Rick, I like,
dude.
Sweetie,
did you leave your deposit over there?
Like, do we need to talk about something here? Like, you know, like seriously? Okay. Anyway, that being said, from the women's match, Jade. Again, Jade
and Jordan.
Jade and Jordan. And the other thing, if I was TNA, the only thing is, and I hope WWE's had relation with other companies before. Famously, Vince McMahon helped support ECW, the original, the good ECW, for years before it went under because Heyman needed the financial help. But the other part of it is, whatever they have to get more eyes on TNA, that's fantastic. But if I was TNA, I might be a little nervous. Like, is this going to cause my top talent to jump? And I could see someone like Jordan Grace, who is just physically now. Again, if you read internet reports, there's a little concern about, because Jordan Grace 2-3 years ago versus how Jordan Grace looks now, really different. But you can see her. Again, being on that roster, but they having access to just more talent to continually build that women's division. We're at a point now where the 4 horsewomen, meaning Bayley, Charlotte. I was a little disappointed we didn't get a Sasha Banks sighting, and the 4th one, Becky Lynch. They really kind of carried the torch for that division for several years at this point. So really, that next group of top ones, obviously Rhea Ripley is leading that charge. But given those folks like Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Jordan.
See, I don't like them too.
Do you or do you not?
I do not like that. First, I don't know what it is about them. I can't stand Shayna.
Okay.
I don't. Zoe is whatever, but like,
see, I think we're gonna get Zoe. I think what we're gonna get at Main is gonna get Zoe and Shayna versus the Kabuki Warriors, just because they need a match.
Yeah.
I definitely like Shayna Baszler. I don't know if you watched when she was on NXT. She was really good on NXT. They have just never let her, and they do this a lot when people come up for NXT. They feel the need to tweak something about it, even if it's something minor, like changing Pete Dunne's name to Butch, only change it back to Pete Dunne like a year later. They tend to mess with their gimmicks and their personas of how they come across, how they lay out their matches when they come from NXT to the main roster with SmackDown or Raw. They've not let Shayna Baszler be the Shayna Baszler that was on NXT. If they actually let her do that, I think you dig her stuff better. I feel like Zoe Stark has a lot of potential. She's still really green. Probably makes her stayed on NXT a little while longer. But I think Zoe Stark, I think in the next year, we're going to see a lot. And Zoe Stark, again, is one of the ones that has my attention. But I totally get you saying with Jordan Grace, especially if she actually does more stuff in the WWE universe, really setting her up for a lot of success as well.
Awesome. Yeah, for me, it was Braun Breaker, man.
Yes.
He just... I don't watch NXT, so like I don't know a lot of the people on. I'm gonna start watching NXT. I really am, but man,
I mean, if you are a fan, again, if you were ever a fan of the Steiner brothers, especially when Scott went solo as Big Papa Pump, other than Bronze, I think is really him in the gym lifting the weights. he's a total, what they did with him to be, I know we're going long tonight. So here's what they did with him. So before, he was very much almost kind of his dad's persona. He barked, did a lot of those things as Braun Breaker, and he had a great feud with Carmelo Hayes over the NXT world title. Hayes beat him. Breaker was unable to get it back, and they did like the thing. Something you'll see this, you had two rivals have a long program together. The end of it, they shake hands and they kind of, go about their way. They did that, but Braun Breaker lost his snot and beat the hell out of Carmelo Hayes. And since then, that's kind of been Braun Breaker's persona, is he's just mad at everybody. And his spear is right up there at Roman Reigns. And he can suplex people. He's a good amalgamation of Brock, Kurt Angle, Roman Reigns, and obviously the Steiner brothers, given his family. So he's someone that, I mark my words, by the time we get to WrestleMania 42, he's probably in the conversation for a world title. He is that good. He is that good.
So good. Awesome, dude. I think we did a pretty good job with the Royal Rumble.
Yes, we went like 90 minutes tonight, my friends. So for those of you who want more nerdy stuff, that will be back next week. But this was a fun kind of getting to the wrestling. This was fun.
Now, next week, I think we need to have a little bit of a conversation about what are we going to do next week. Are we going to do our Flash Gordon?
Yes,
pitch?
sir. I think we definitely do our Flash Gordon pitch.
All right, well, let's make it official.
So we're going to talk Flash. I think we'll definitely do our best ofs, and you know what? I'm gonna throw some more of those 6 degrees of some separations there. So
very nice.
We will do that. So let's talk that real quick before we close up the show. So when we're doing the 6 degrees, do we want to connect 2 different actors from nerddom, or do we want to connect someone from nerddom to Kevin Bacon? So we can do it a couple different ways.
I think 2 separate people to
and draw them together, correct?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
That works for me, my friend.
Yeah, or 2 different movies. Yeah, I think we should stick with the actors, because I'm gonna do something for you. Is I'm gonna have you pick the movie.
Okay.
By me just telling you who's in the cast.
That sounds fun. All right, and we will have the return of our honest ad next week. All right, my friend.
Sounds good. All right, man. It's official.
Yes, sir.
So here it is. Next week's episode will be Flash Gordon, and we will pitch our new Flash Gordon. We're going to fan cast it. We're going to come up with our own synopsis. We're going to figure out what makes a good Flash Gordon, and why in the heck do we not have one right now? Absolutely.
And I already know my new Flash. I am excited for it because because it's gonna be, I've got a whole thing. So we're ready. I'm gonna drop Flash Gordon into the MCU, my friend. So let's do it.
I dig it. So here's, if you want to get a hold of us, actually, where can we get a hold of you, man?
All right. So again, my name is Brian S. Dennis. You can find me on the Book of Faces at Brian Steven Dennis, and feel free to give me a like, give me a follow. Try and keep it funny and occasionally weird.
All right, and X is going to give it to me at Fandemic3. You can message me on Facebook at the Fandemic. I'm also active on TikTok at the Fandemic1. Hear my reviews and so much more. I got Beekeeper, and the next one I'm Fandemically reviewed I'm going to do is, I think we're going to do The Trust from Netflix, and we'll see what happens after that. So if you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thefandemic. You can find us on Patreon at www.patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic. Become an episode assistant, an episode producer, a pre-venge producer like Stacy, or yes, you could be part of the Council of Nerds, starting at about $5 a month. You can just go to PayPal or Venmo and at Bradley Buchanan. I'm not going to say no. Brian, you going to say no?
Not even a little bit.
All right. Just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. Don't forget to leave a 5-star review. Brian, I think we're at max levels of awesome.
We have buried the needle another week. So again, thank you all for joining us. What is the best part of our week? So with that being said, remember, No Retreat, No Surrender, and Goonies, Never Say Die.
Friendship is like peeing on yourself. Everyone can see it, but only you get the warm feeling that it brings. If you think about it, every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. Squirrels' cheeks are their nutsacks, and don't let today end in a why didn't I? Bye-bye.
Bye.